Hi everyone. So we're here with Gerardo from the Events GB, and really appreciate that you're joining our conversation today to talk a little bit about your experience and sharing with our viewers and listeners what your background is and what Events GB is all about, and how we're going to work together. So first of all, Gerardo, thank you for taking the time. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation. Hope this will be nice and great for the people that are listening to that.
Absolutely. So my first question is, tell me a little bit more about your academic and professional experience.
Well, I have to say that my background, I am a PA teacher, physical education teacher. I work at the university here in Madrid. It's called Universidad Autónoma de Madrid. I've been always working in the field of sport as a teacher in school. Then I also work as a PI trainer in a football club. You know, Getafe is in first division. Yep. I was in the second division when I worked there in the club. But I always like it to build teams. After that, I joined the ATP tournament in Madrid. It's called now the Mutua Madrid Open. When I started to work with volunteers, yes, managing teams.
Right.
So we can have that. I have two backgrounds. One is academic, teaching at the university, giving lectures around Europe. Yep. In the field of human resources, managing in sport events. The other is that I run my company, Events GB.
Nice. Yeah, so you're the founder of Events GB. So tell our viewers and listeners, what is Events GB and how did it all come to life?
Well, we created Event GB because I started, as I said, managing volunteers in sport events. So sometimes you meet the volunteers at the organization, sometimes you meet the volunteers at the cafe.
Right.
Because it seems to be informal, but then I say I need a place, not to because I am a big boss, but then I have a place to speak with people. It's not a work, perhaps, as you are doing by internet. I have to know and see the people. So I create my company. I have my office here close to the Bernabeu, and I start to manage the volunteers. Then I start to manage hostesses in Davis Cup. And for my first time in my life, in 2011, I ran the ESM conference, that is the European Association for Sport Management Conference. And with that, I start to run events in that field.
Nice. And as you mentioned, you've been a heavy contributor to the ESM conference. So this year you had the opportunity to host the conference in Seville. So can you share the role you had for this conference? And what other initiatives are you doing, to help students in the ESM environment?
Yes, good question. Yes, well, I am the person who had the right to organize the conference. I can say that 3 years before I start to look for a place in Spain to organize the event. And always when you have an event, you have to go to an attractive place like is Seville. Yeah. And from that moment, well, I start to do my bidding process. I have to say that I bid for another conference here in Madrid, and the city of Madrid nominated me as honorable ambassador of the city for bringing events and business for the city. Yes, it's nice and put me my quality very, very high to run the events. So we have a very successful event in Sevilla in all orders, yes, as academic, social, different things. You were there. Right. My next steps, I will organize another event next month in Santiago de Chile, that is for the World Association for Sport Management. Right. And two special events that will run always in May in Madrid. One is called the 6th Madrid Weekender, and the ESN Summer School with students with profiles in sport management, events management, tourism, that they would like to have a time for learning, a time to go to sport events, and also for culture.
Yeah, no, and it's really good, kind of like the range you're covering of the different events, and I like kind of like your focus on students, the young professionals. So can you tell me a little bit about like what kind of events you're offering for students that are trying to get into the sport industry, and kind of like what is the benefits for them of attending, for instance, like the 6th Madrid Weekender or something like that?
Well, the benefits is always to learn because they are students.
For
And I
sure.
will say to them to say the things that they are 10 points, that they are great, and the things that you are not going to do never if you are working in a company. Yes, because
100%.
people, they go to the Bernabeu. Oh, the Bernabeu, yes, but how is the parking to the Bernabeu? It's difficult to park the car close to the Bernabeu. So there are a lot of things that perhaps me and the tutors that they are coming with them, they should show to the students.
100%.
So this is the main thing that they can share their experience with other students. They know the city. We also take them to the ATP tournament in
Yep.
Madrid for the Madrid weekend, the Mutua Madrid. It's very nice. You can watch
Nice.
Nadal, you can watch Federer, wherever. But there are a lot of things to know about that. For example, the venue. The venue is
Yep.
was cost a lot to the city. And sometimes I tell them that during the year, perhaps this venue have no activities. So this is an opportunity to you to
Right.
think what you can do it.
Right. How can you utilize the events, year round? And and I agree. I think it's really good opportunities for a lot of students to take advantage of these kind of events. To get a little bit more insight of the industry. So yeah, any student out there, we highly recommend to check out Events GB and see if it's a good fit for you.
Yes, yes.
So
Why not?
yeah, of course. And talking a little about back at the ESM conference in Seville. So as of course some of our readers and listeners know, we created a special panel together with you about gender equality in sport management. So how was your experience with this panel, and why was this panel so important?
Well, it's very important always to include a woman in all the activities with sport. This is
Right.
growing a lot. I am original from Buenos Aires, from Argentina. I live
Yeah.
in Madrid since 30 years. But today I read the newspaper, and the main news was from Argentina that River Boca, both very important teams,
Yeah. Yeah.
more important River because I am fan from River. So the first news was that there was a football match for women between River and Boca.
Oh, nice.
Boca beat River 5-0, but it was
Okay.
the first news. So this is coming about gender equality. Yes, the notice
Yeah.
for girls, and especially how the woman could be involved in the field of sport management. So this is something that should be extremely important in all federation, organizations, institutions, to
Yeah.
be open for this kind of point that we have to get the best solution for that.
I agree, and like for us too, it was a really great panel. I appreciate your effort as the moderator. It was a really good effort, and I think it was
Thank
a
you.
like very interesting panel, and it opened a lot of eyes. Because I actually just talked with the co-hosts for the ESM next year. In Loughborough, and
Yes.
they already paid attention to that special event. So it means that we're doing something right. And I really looking forward to see what we can do together with you.
Okay.
And we have a couple more questions that I was thinking about, and one of the questions I'm really curious about, and I think like some of the students too, is what kind of skill set do you need in order to be a volunteer as part of like events in the sport industry?
Well, the main point for me is, I always say when I give my courses, is availability.
Yeah,
Yes, a person that have availability, that will have the commitment to be to the
100%.
sport event. We have different cultures. You are in Norway,
Yeah,
culture for volunteers. People in England, here in Spain, we are different. We are growing.
right.
But when I said, and I have an interview with a volunteer for the tennis tournament, I said we have the tennis tournament for 7 days.
Yeah,
So I need you 7 days. I can adapt your schedule because you are studying, you are working. You want to come from 10 to 4 to 5? No problem. You want to come to 5 to the end of the session in tennis? No problem. But you cannot say me I will come Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, not, but I will return on Saturday. This is not up
right.
how you want.
For
So
sure.
this is one of the main things,
Yeah,
and is not an obligation. It's because you want to do that. And the
right.
more important thing about volunteers, that I have a lot of volunteers that then they will can get a job.
Yeah.
Some of them they've got a job with me, or they can get a job with the event.
Right. No, for sure. It's a really great way to get your experience in the door and get your foot in the door. And touching a little bit upon that too, like what kind of people or skill set are you looking for to work with Events GB at all, like at a general level?
I like people that want to grow. I like people with attitude to transmit enthusiasm.
Yeah,
They have to have knowledge,
for sure.
to be competent, to transmit the idea to do things. This is one of the more important things, not to have only the obligation to do their task. Gerardo, let's go to do that. I will say yes or no, no, difficult. Oh, yes, perhaps why we cannot do other things. So
Right.
I need people open, and this is one of the most important things in my background in human resources.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
not people waiting to do what I have to do.
right.
Is to be proactive, and we are in
100%.
this kind of world nowadays.
No, but I agree 100%. And if there's anything our viewers and listeners can learn from this, it's to be proactive, just in terms of, building, network, taking initiative to participate at events, whether that as a participant, maybe at ESM, maybe at the Madrid Weekender or whatever it is, just try to open your mind in order to get the most experience that you can. A great way of utilizing volunteer opportunities. And you mentioned, you're having the event the World Association for Sport Management soon event, and you need volunteers there too. So you always need people, and there will always be opportunities. So I
Yes.
think that's the key lesson for people and for this interview. And as just a final thought, how do you just how will it be for Events GB to be working with Sporting Global as a partnership going forward? And how do you see us, kind of just helping each other,
Well, first of all, congratulations for your startup. We can say company, yes, doing things with the thing that I don't know, perhaps as you manage with your mobiles, with this kind of app and things that we spoke the other day. When I don't know a thing I want to, I am very good in things. I have very good quality, but I don't know other things. So
right?
perhaps we can mix and work together in order to be Sporting Global with us. Perhaps that was on conference, perhaps Madrid weekend there, yes, and summer school. Whatever I don't want to say, but perhaps I will have another opportunity in 2 years in Germany. So
Right.
perhaps we can do this together. And I like you the way, and from Eduardo also, that you are calling me, you are writing me, we are doing things immediately, we can say.
Right.
And I think
Yeah.
that is the best thing that we need every day, yes, between companies
Absolutely.
to go in advance with things.
I appreciate, of course, your kind words, and I'm very glad that you were able to do this, together with like the special event that we're able to do in Seville, and I'm sure we'll be able to do more events and stuff together. So, Gerardo, I would like to thank you once again for the time, and to all our listeners out there, we always finish with Lisnackis.
Okay. Thank you. See you. Bye bye.